Eventually, I ended up signing with Louisiana Tech University. I just wanted to get something different. I wanted to have a change of pace. I wanted to get out of California. So going down to Ruston, Louisiana was a complete 360 from living out here. Going there, I just felt like I had to grow up a lot faster, mature, and just making that decision helped me become a better man and being able to live on my own and do everything that I need to do, just figure out my own way by me going to Louisiana Tech and I think it was 2006. College it wasn't rough at all, but it was just challenging, you know, being away from home, not seeing mom and dad, holidays and all that stuff. So they would come visit me at least once a year or once or twice, or would come meet us where we, in our conference at the time, we was playing Fresno State, Boise, University of Nevada. So they would catch one of those games as we come in on the West Coast. Freshman year, I didn't play too much, but the next year we got a new coach, and then he told me if, you know, it was like another fork in the road to make a decision to either stay or leave. Also, I had an opportunity. I could have went to Colorado State and transfer, but I feel like, nah, going back to when I was playing here, stick with the guys that you started with and be loyal. So I wanted to be loyal to the school, and I just wanted to finish what I started. And so I stuck with the coach. His name Coach Kerry Rupp. He's one of the best coaches I ever had. He challenged me every day, and then from that sophomore year on, my game progressed and got better each and every year. And I went from averaging 6 points to averaging 15 sophomore year, then my junior year 17, and then ultimately my senior year I was averaging 21. And at one point I was like the #2 leading scorer in the nation. Started getting some recognitions from a couple of NBA teams. My coach would tell me agents were calling him. One time my best game, I probably had like 29 points, 5 rebounds, and like a couple of assists, and the game was on ESPN against Fresno State, and actually against Paul George. Everybody was watching him at the time because he was a great player in college. And I had 30 on them. It was one of my best games. And then I just remember after the game, my phone was lighting up. I didn't understand who had my number, but I got maybe like 25 text messages from just random people saying good game, this agent, that agent, and it was just crazy. And I was just shocked by it. But you know, it was just one of the things that just fueled me to, you know, not really just pay attention, but just gave me like a pat on the back, like, yeah, I'm doing something right. So yeah, college was a great time. It just got progressively better, and I'm just glad that I stuck with it instead of just taking the other route. Maybe it could have been maybe the easy route. I just stuck with the grind, finished what I started, and we didn't have the best conditions as a Division I basketball teams, but I just learned, like, man, it will come full circle for me, and then that senior year was just a great time. Now being a pro it's mixed feelings, because you have a lot more, let's say, politics, things that you don't know behind the scenes happening. Like I said, you have agents and different players, coaches' relationships with the agents relationships with certain teams. So I've heard mixed reviews about playing overseas. I've heard just horrific horror stories about guys not being paid late, just being cut off the team for any number of reasons. But through my experience so far, I would say I had a very good experience overseas. This is going into my 7th season overseas. I started 2 years playing in the NBDL at the time, NBA Development League. You know, was hoping for my shot at the NBA, but at the time it just didn't work out for me. But I played pretty well, where I felt I was close to getting that call up, but it just didn't work out for me. Transition from there with my agent to Italy. This is 2013, 2014. I played in Pistoia, Italy, and I just loved it. At that time, I played with a great group of guys. Myself, Deron Washington. He was drafted by Detroit Pistons. Jawan Johnson, Boston Celtics. Brad Wanamaker, who just signed with the Boston Celtics this season coming up. So we had a great group of guys. We were hungry. The atmosphere in Pistoia, Italy was amazing. The fans, it's just different. It's not really like arenas out there. Maybe like the higher clubs like Milan, they had like real arenas, but we're playing in some places we're playing in, it looks like here, it looks like Rancho. So I felt comfortable playing here. So nothing really bothered me about playing in a small gym or anything like that. But the fans are crazy overseas, throwing lighters, lighting flares in the crowd, sometimes running on the court. I remember one game, Pistoia is a rival to Bologna, and we was having our home game, and it was a rivalry. And that game was going to dictate who was going to go to the playoffs. And so just say like 3 seconds left, it's just like their ball was at a scramble on the court happened, and it was their ball. And then just out of nowhere, the fans just start throwing water bottles on the court. Non-stopping, the MC is trying to tell everybody to stop, calm down. They just continue throwing water bottles on the court. And of course, the water's busting, and you just got these puddles on the court. Little kids is coming on with the brooms, trying to dry everything up, with towels wiping on the court. And they wiped it as best as they could. And then, so it's back to playing, scramble for the ball, and the guy slips from Bologna and doesn't even get a shot off. And I'm just like, whatever it takes to win. And then those things happen overseas, and it's just like it's fair ball. Like, there's no harm, no foul. So things like that just happen, and you can't do anything about it. And yeah, it's crazy. I've seen so much. Then after that, 2013, 2014, the next season I played in Rome, Italy. And I told my agent, man, I didn't want to go. The only place I would go in Italy, because honestly, I like to travel. So to me, hopping to different countries, it was regular. It was normal to me. It was going from Los Angeles to Ruston, Louisiana. I kind of got some habits of how to live on my own. So moving on my own, it was fine. So just getting up and going to different countries was fine with me. So next year, I told my agent, only teams I would want to play for in Italy would be Rome or Milan. And then Rome called. Then living in Rome was just amazing. Just after practice, you just drive down the street, and then there goes the Roman Coliseum right on your left-hand side. Plenty of things to do. Once again, the fans were very passionate. Playing in a historical gym. So that Rome experience was great. Then from there, transitioned to Belgium. I played in Ostend, Belgium. And that year, that was my first title overseas. I won the Belgium League, the mid-season title, and then we also won the championship at the end of the year. And that was a great feeling. Champagne shower, just being able to experience something like that was unbelievable. And from Belgium, I went to France. And France was a very athletic league, up and down, very aggressive. Statistically, that was my best year. I was able to average 18 points. I was top 3 in scoring that year, and had the highest three-point percentage with 45% at that year. So everything clicked. Then from there, this past season I played in Montenegro, and Montenegro was different. Like playing in that whole Balkan region, Serbia, Croatia, Slovenia. It was really different. Like this past year, I would say I have gotten a total overseas experience to where it's like sometimes my money was late. I got all my money, but it was late. coaches, Serbian coaches are just real strict and mean and practice. They have like absolutely no relax button, no chill. So we would practice a whole lot. The fans out there was crazy. A couple of games, they've lit flares, and during the other team's introduction, throw the flare on the court. I've seen a couple times a guy flare blasted right next to him and almost like burn his whole jersey right before the game. But even though he didn't get burned or nothing happened, you play on, like nothing happened. Fans, throwing quarters on the court. I remember one game this past year, we were playing against a team from Turkey, and I didn't know this, but Montenegro and Turkey, they had like a war back in the day, a random war. And so every time when they play a Turkish team, the fans would just go nuts. And in this particular game, like every time the Turkish team would score, our fans would throw these little balls on the court, and it would bust, and it'd just be a whole bunch of little papers on the floor, spread around the court. So the guys would come out to sweep it. Like, so every 2 minutes when we're making a run or they're making a run, the fans would throw it on the court and then just stop the game for another 5-10 minutes. And it was just crazy. Like, and we played in 3 different leagues. We played in Euro Cup. That's where we would play against better teams across Europe. We played in a league called ABA League, and that's against maybe the top 2 or 3 teams from Montenegro, Slovenia, Croatia, Serbia, Macedonia. We all play in one league. And then at the end of all that, we played in the Montenegrin league, and that was just a quick 2-month league. But also this year, I was able to win my 2nd overseas title in the ABA League. It was like this big historic league. We were able to win the title this year in this club's first time ever winning the championship. So it was a historic moment. Just the whole basketball experience that I've had, the ups and downs to it, starting off here just helped me fight through it. Like just remembering to be the fundamentals I learned here, it helps me when I'm overseas because it's really more fundamental, not really too much up and down like the NBA game. Just interacting with coaches because, like I said, my dad was my high school coach, but then just growing up playing for you, playing for Dave Williams, Coach Darren, like to be able to deal with other people rather than just hearing from my father all the time, being able to be coached by other people helped me to where I am now overseas. Just listen, be attentive, be disciplined, and everything just started right here. It's just my passion for the game, playing in an intense environment, being able to say I want to take that last shot started here. One of my first game-winning shots, I think, was that '98 year. It was like it could have been a real game or it might have been a scrimmage. I just remember I caught it half court right here, dribbled down the lane, and I remember I used to always spin, and I did the spin, hit the floater right on this basket right here, and hit the glass, went in my first game winner. I'll never forget it. So yeah, Rancho had a great impact on my life, and then just who I am as a person. Just my drive for basketball started in this gym. My competitiveness, my fire, just everything started from here from day one and back in '96. And then also creeping up with that '98 team where it was just a great group of guys who came together for one goal, for the love of just playing basketball. We play hard, competed against one another, and we're still friends to this day. I'm still because of social media, speak with a lot of the guys that I grew up playing against and that play with me still to this day. And then I just, once again, like, Rancho it's a special place.